Hello there, everyone, and welcome to DerekJ Speaks. And today we are covering WWE Extreme Rules 2021 live from the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. A show that had absolutely no business carrying the Extreme Rules name. In years past, this is a show that WWE usually bills as the one night of year that the WWE goes extreme. And I don't know about you, but a 3-hour pay-per-view that has only one match with an extreme stipulation does not classify as the one night a year that WWE goes extreme. So I thought that was a little bit lazy. If you weren't going to have a bunch of stipulation matches up and down the card, you should have just called the show something else. But I digress, because aside from that, I thought overall this was a pretty strong show. The build-up and lead-up to this pay-per-view left a lot to be desired. I did not think this was the strongest built show, and the hype levels were very low for this pay-per-view coming in. But sometimes that can be very beneficial, especially for the talent involved, because I thought overall everyone delivered in a big way tonight. There were quite a few really great matches on this show. A lot of fun matches, a lot of fun moments, a lot of great action that really pushed the show through to come to a point where it ended strong. It did have a few drawbacks. Whatever the hell that post-match stuff was with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, and seeing the death of Lily the doll and Alexa's reaction to it, that was bizarre. Also, the finish and closing moments of the main event with Roman Reigns and Demon Balor was hilariously goofy. Very, very goofy. And I just don't understand what that was or what happened, but we will get into all of that, every single bit of it. Like I said, aside from that stuff, there was some really good things on this show. We got a really good SmackDown Women's Championship match between Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch, even with the finish, the DQ finish with the Sasha Banks run-in. I thought it was really good. We got a really great triple threat for the U.S. title. And up until that post-match stuff, I thought Charlotte and Alexa were having a pretty good match. And even the main event, up until that finishing sequence, I thought they had a really great match. I thought Roman and Balor killed it in the main event. But we will get into all of that as we go on here. As always, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, go ahead and give this channel some love. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, and follow me on Twitter at DerekJ Speaks, where you get all of my interactions with people talking about the crazy world of professional wrestling all week, and anything else that I feel like talking about. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this show. Start off with a kickoff show. We got Liv Morgan going one-on-one with Carmella. A feud that is very bare bones, with Carmella being very cocky, calling herself the most beautiful woman in all of WWE, and Liv Morgan seeking to shut her up. And she basically did that here. I thought these two went out there and had a very good match, way better than it had any right to be. And the fans were definitely firmly behind Liv Morgan. There were a lot of Liv Morgan fans in Columbus on this night. And I myself am a big Liv Morgan fan, and I see big things in her future. She has a lot of potential to break out into being a very big star in the women's division. And I thought this was a good showcase for her. And even Carmella looked pretty strong in this match too. But in the end, Liv Morgan was the one to get the win. So I don't know where this leads either woman, especially as we head into the draft this upcoming week. But strong showing from both women here. we got a late addition to the show that opened things up. It was a 6-man tag team match. The New Day, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and the new WWE Champion Big E facing AJ Styles, Omos, and the former champion, the almighty Bobby Lashley. This match was set up on the kickoff show when there was a big backstage brawl between all 6 men, and we got this match here. So we get the match. The commentators are talking about it, although it sounds like there's a few extra voices on commentary, and that's because, for whatever reason, the English commentary team was having some overlap from the Spanish commentary team. Although, based on what I was seeing on my timeline on Twitter, some people were hearing the French commentary team. Or maybe it started off with the French team and went into the Spanish team, or vice versa. Either way, I don't know if that was a faux pas on WWE's part or on Peacock's part. I'm not sure. Either way, it was very distracting, and it just very much ruined the entrances for this match. But luckily, you could hear the fans going crazy for the New Day, going crazy for AJ Styles, and by the time the bell rung and the match started, it really wasn't a factor anymore. Overall, this was a 6-man tag team match that you would find on any given episode of Raw. In fact, I could see this match happening on Raw again in the future. I was going to say tomorrow night as of this recording, but that's not the match we're going to get on Raw this week. But even though it was a basic 6-man tag team match, it was a really great one. I thought everyone played their parts in this match to perfection. Big E, he's the new champion, and he was made to look like a star just based on crowd reaction alone. He got the by far biggest reaction out of anyone in this match. The crowd loved the New Day, but Big E was definitely the guy, the focus that everyone wanted to see, and he was the one who got the biggest hot tag in the match. So, great stuff from everyone involved in this match. Towards the finish, we see Lashley in the corner. He's setting up to go for a spear on Big E when AJ, who's on the apron, he tags himself in. He is gearing up to hit the phenomenal forearm, and when he comes up for the springboard off the ropes, we see Lashley with the blind tag on AJ's ankle. But AJ gets in the ring. Big E ducks the forearm, and with all the commotion and movement, Lashley comes in. He goes for a spear on Big E, but Big E sidesteps him, and Lashley accidentally spears AJ. So AJ's out. Lashley's a legal man, as is Big E. Big E gets Lashley up, hits him with the big ending, and gets the 1-2-3 and the victory for his team. So the New Day wins. Like I said, very, very good opening match here. And this was not the last we saw of at least Lashley and Big E for the night. Later on in the show, we had a backstage segment with Bobby Lashley calling out Big E, calling him a coward, calling him chicken shit, and challenged him to a championship match on Raw the next night, tomorrow night, as of this recording. And then a little bit later on than that, we see Big E in his own backstage promo retorting against Lashley, I guess, and he accepted the challenge. And then by the end of the night, they were already promoting the fact that at the very beginning of the show, to kick off Monday Night Raw, we are going to get a WWE Championship match between Big E and Bobby Lashley. They are clearly very much preparing for going up against Monday Night Football, and they do not want to come close to matching AEW in those demo ratings. They want to crush them in every way possible. So when that happens, you get big matches like this, and it's very smart on their part to promote it. It's very smart to open the show with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that match goes on. Up next was the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the line. The Usos defending against Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the Street Profits. This past week on SmackDown, Montez Ford was on his own. He had a big singles match against Roman Reigns in the main event, and it ended with Reigns tapping him out to the guillotine and Montez Ford getting beat down by the entire bloodline and getting put through a table at the hands of Roman Reigns. So heading into this match, Montez Ford had injured ribs, and that played a factor over the course of this match, but it did not stop him from being a big highlight. One of the biggest highlights of this entire match, we see the Usos double teaming Angelo Dawkins on the outside. They ram him into the security wall, the barricade, and then while they're posing and playing to the crowd, out of nowhere in the ring, we see Montez Ford dive over the top rope, over the corner, the side where the steel post is and all that. We see him completely clear that and dive right out onto both Usos on the floor. One of the big highlights of this match. He gets Jey Uso back in the ring, goes up top, hits a frog splash, but it's only good for a 2 count. And then, towards the very finish of the match, we see the Usos, they dispose of Angelo Dawkins in a super kick that was intended for Montez Ford. Angelo Dawkins basically took the bullet for him, and he got super kicked. We see Jimmy Uso super kicks Montez Ford in his injured ribs. Then we get a double super kick from both Usos. Both Usos go up top, opposite sides of the ring. Double Uso splash onto Montez Ford, and they get the win. The Usos retain the tag team titles. No surprise here, no shock finish here. Pretty much well expected. A very good match. These two teams have great chemistry together. The Street Profits are an amazing tag team. The Usos are still one of the best tag teams in the entire world. They have not lost their spot in that conversation, and they proved that once again. So, great work from these two teams in this match. Up next, we got the Raw Women's Championship on the line. Charlotte Flair defending against Alexa Bliss. I had a feeling that Charlotte might retain, but I wasn't fully convinced. I was still kind of debating back and forth in my head until I realized, oh yeah, they're in Columbus for this pay-per-view, and Columbus is Alexa Bliss's hometown. And this is WWE, so that pretty much sealed the fate of Alexa Bliss in this match, and determined exactly who was going to win and who was going to be made to look strong by the end of this match. And any doubt was completely thrown out the window by the time we got to the end of this thing. But up until that point, Charlotte and Alexa were having a very good match. I thought that Charlotte brought out of Alexa a performance that we have not seen from her since she started this whole female fiend gimmick and the stuff with the black goo and Lily the doll and all this crap that she's been doing, which she's been doing well. She's played her role very well, but in ring wise, we haven't seen her have any real breakout performances. But of course, leave it to Charlotte to pull that out of Alexa here. So I thought they were having a very good match. We see Alexa go up top, go for Twisted Bliss. She comes down, crash and burn. Charlotte moves out of the way. Charlotte tries to go for the figure 8, but Alexa counters it and turns it into a cradle, but it's only good for a 2 count. She immediately gets Charlotte back up, hits her with a DDT, goes for the cover, but Charlotte gets a foot on the bottom rope. So both women get their distance. Charlotte finds Lily, the doll. She gets the doll. She's kind of flaunting it in Alexa's face. She throws it at Alexa. How that wasn't a DQ, I don't know. But she throws the doll in Alexa's face, and then she gives her a big boot. Alexa's down. Charlotte hits natural selection, and Charlotte gets the 1, 2, 3 and retains the Raw Women's Championship. Like I said, a match that was way better than it had any right to be, and probably the best match that I've seen Alexa Bliss have in a very long time. That wasn't the story here. The story is what happened after the match. Charlotte picks back up Lily the doll, and as she poses in front of the crowd, she starts to dismember this doll. She rips its legs off, she rips its arms off, and she just completely tears Lily the doll apart. And all that's left in the ring is a bunch of stuffing and pieces of the doll left over. Alexa tries to attack Charlotte. She tries to go after her on the outside, but then Charlotte throws her over the announce table, and she gets to stand tall, and she walks away. The crowd is booing heavily Charlotte, and she's mocking them, but that's that. After all these months of Alexa and this doll named Lily, and these months of segments with this doll, here we have Charlotte being the biggest babyface to all of us who don't like this gimmick, killing this doll once and for all. And Alexa, kudos to her, she did some of the best acting I've seen from her. She completely broke down, had a huge meltdown. She was in the middle of the ring, she was crying, she was sobbing, she was screaming, she was just frantic, cradling the pieces that were left of this doll. The fans, whether serious or tongue-in-cheek, they chanted, "Thank you, Lily," which got a laugh out at me. This continued out of the ring all the way up the ramp. We see Alexa still going crazy. She's cradling the pieces of the doll, and we see her start to foam at the mouth, which was gross. But then it turned funny when you saw her scream and you saw her open her mouth and you see the little tablet in her mouth. That's a little Alka-Seltzer pill. So that's how she was able to foam at the mouth so quickly. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, Alexa had this big freak out over a doll getting ripped up, not over the fact that she lost the women's championship match. And she did not win back the Raw Women's Championship. Oh no. Her reaction, her frantic, crazy reaction here was because her doll got ripped up. I don't know what this means. I don't know if the doll's going to be resurrected at some point in the future, but all I know is it's dead right now. So, for whatever that's worth, I guess thank you, Charlotte. I don't know. But yeah, I thought the match was fine. That post-match stuff, yeesh. But anyway, moving on to the triple threat match for the United States Championship. Damian Priest defending his championship against Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. This was originally a singles match between Priest and Sheamus, but that all changed this past Monday night on Raw when Jeff Hardy pinned Sheamus in a match where, had Jeff won, he would get added to this match here. So Jeff won, and this match became a triple threat. And I thought it was a very good triple threat match. I thought these three men killed it. Jeff Hardy, he is still very great. He is still super over. He was easily the most over guy in this entire match, and he was the guy who these people wanted to see win this championship match. Damian Priest was really popular too. Sheamus, easily hated, but he brought it. Sheamus has been a very quiet, underrated MVP this year. He has been putting out a lot of banger matches all year with people like Damian Priest and Jeff Hardy and Riddle and Drew McIntyre and even people like Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo. Sheamus has been very good in the ring this year. So kudos to him. And he brought his piece to this match too. And Damian Priest is a star on the rise, and this was an opportunity to get a showcase for him in this match, and that's exactly what happened. Now, while this match was good, it unfortunately had a very noticeable, a very embarrassing botched spot. We see Priest go for the reckoning on Jeff Hardy, and clearly the idea was Jeff was supposed to counter it and go into the twist of fate, but unfortunately, in doing so, he kind of slipped or stumbled or whatever, and it looked like he was locking Priest in a Dragon Sleeper. In fact, Corey Graves on commentary called it that, called the counter into the Dragon Sleeper, trying to save face. But then both men kind of stumbled and fell down, but they picked themselves back up pretty quickly, and Jeff ended up hitting Damian Priest with the twist of fate anyway, but it was only good for a 2 count. So I thought they recovered very nicely. We see Priest, he chokeslammed Sheamus off the top rope, goes for the cover, but then on the other side, Jeff Hardy comes off with a swanton bomb onto both men, and everyone's laid out. We see Priest back up. He goes for a springboard move, trying to do something to Jeff Hardy, but then Sheamus comes in out of nowhere, pushes Jeff Hardy out of the way, so when Priest turns around and comes off the ropes, he gets caught in midair with a high knee from Sheamus. Sheamus ends up hitting a bro kick on Jeff Hardy, but then in doing so, Damian Priest comes in with a roll-up on Sheamus and gets the win. Damian Priest is still the United States Champion. This was one of the better matches of the night. I thought it was very good. Like I said before, Sheamus still putting out some really good bangers this year. Jeff Hardy showing that he can still compete at that top level and deserves way more respect than he is given in this company. And I am very impressed with what they have been doing with Damian Priest. Say what you will about these NXT call-ups when they hit Raw or SmackDown and how underused and abused these talents can be by WWE. But for whatever reason, they have done a very good job of slowly building up Damian Priest, and I'm very impressed. And tonight, I should say, was another opportunity to give him a chance to shine, and he did just that. So, great work here. Up next, we got the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. The man, Becky Lynch, defending against the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. Clearly, this match was going to be better than their match at SummerSlam, considering the fact that that one went 26 seconds. So, it was very easy work for these two in terms of that. But even despite that, I thought they had a really great match. This was the one match that had the best build-up on the entire show. I thought Bianca, coming into this show, despite being done dirty by WWE at SummerSlam, I thought that her work has been really solid. Her promo work has been great. Becky has been trying her hardest to get over as a heel and getting the fans to boo her, and for the most part, it has worked. I'm still not fully convinced and do not really buy her as this dislikable figure because it's Becky Lynch. But she has done a very good job of getting more comfortable in the heel role. So going into this match, I expected nothing short of an amazing match, and that's exactly what we got. This was my favorite match of the night. I thought these two killed it. I thought they had an incredible match here, and this is exactly the kind of match that I was hoping to see these two have at SummerSlam, and why I was so disappointed with that outcome, because I knew they were capable of having a match like this. So better late than never, I guess, because they had a really great match here. Bianca is just so good. She has improved so much over these last few months, and she's been great all these last few months, but she has improved immensely. And Becky Lynch, this was the first real regular match we have seen her in since WrestleMania last year. So for that, this is a great accomplishment here. These two have really great chemistry, and they really brought it here in this match. We see right from the beginning, they're trying to play off of that finish to the SummerSlam thing where Becky tries to shake Bianca's hand, but she pulls her in, went for the manhandle slam, but then Bianca got her up going for the KOD, but then she slipped out. So we got a bit of a standstill. They went on, exchanged a bunch of moves back and forth. I'm not going to name every single thing that happened in this match. You got to go back and watch it for yourself. It was great work from both women involved. Thought they had a great one. At one point, we had Bianca hung up over the second rope, and we see Becky come off with a leg drop right onto Bianca, the back of her head and neck. Only good for a 2 count. The two women are going back and forth, and it gets to a point where Becky tries to lock Bianca in the disarm her. We saw her try to do it earlier in the match, but Bianca was able to escape. This time, she tried to escape again, but once Becky almost had it locked in, we see Bianca, in a feat of strength on her part, start to lift Becky up with just one arm. And you can kind of see where it's going from here. She gets Becky up on her shoulders, going for the KOD, when all of a sudden, out comes Sasha Banks. We have not seen Sasha Banks since before SummerSlam, where WWE pulled that bait and switch of promoting Sasha Banks to compete all the way up until the show, and then not delivering, even though they knew well in advance that she was not going to be there. They still promoted her anyway. That's still very shady, and it should not be ignored. But Sasha returns, causes the DQ, and ends up laying out both women. She initially attacked Bianca, beat her down, and then when she went face to face with Becky, it looked like they might have some kind of alliance. Becky even gave Sasha the Orange Cassidy thumbs up, but then Sasha went to attack Becky as well. She ended up giving Bianca the backstabber and gave Becky a kick to the face and stood tall. And she told both women, she told the camera, see you on Friday. So she will be on SmackDown this week on the draft show. Clearly this is setting up a triple threat at some point. I have no idea when. Maybe it could be Friday. Maybe it could be in Saudi Arabia. I have no idea when we're going to get it, but this is clearly setting that up. I thought even with the DQ finish, which I called, I figured that this was not going to have a clean finish here, and we were going to get the return of Sasha Banks laying out both women to set up a triple threat match for the future, and that's exactly what happened, and I thought it worked. It made sense. Sasha has no allegiance to either woman. All she should be focused on is getting her championship back. So I thought it worked. And up to that point, Becky and Bianca were having a great match, and it just worked. Like I said, this was the best match of the night for me personally. And I thought even down to the finish, everything clicked. So great work from the women here in this match. And now we arrive to the main event, the Universal Championship defended in an Extreme Rules match between Roman Reigns and the Demon, Finn Balor. What is the difference between regular Finn Balor and the Demon? Is that he puts on a bunch of face paint and he sticks his tongue out. That's about it. But I will say, one of the biggest, I guess, drawbacks you can call it to the Demon character for Finn Balor has been the fact that there is no real difference in his presentation, in his moveset, anything that really differentiates himself from the Demon persona that justifies there being this difference, this switch, this mental transformation that he's supposed to undergo when he morphs into the Demon. There hasn't really been any evidence of that in the past, aside from the occasional squash match here and there. But I thought here we got a little bit more of that. We got a much more aggressive side of Finn Balor in the Demon persona that is not really always there when he is regular Finn Balor. It wasn't completely brand new, but it was something a little bit different. It was not the regular Balor. It was a lot more aggressive. There were a lot more underhanded, shady tactics that regular Finn Balor would not do in a match that we saw the Demon do here. We saw some eye rakes, we saw some back rakes, we saw low blows, we saw a lot more aggressive intensity from Demon Balor. So for that much, I thought it was pretty cool. Roman was the ultimate troll heel in this match. The fans were chanting, "We want tables." They were chanting that all night, and Roman flat out said, "No tables." Balor was trying to go for a table at one point. Roman cut him off and slid that table right back under the ring. No tables on Roman Reigns' watch. We saw the two men start to fight out into the crowd. Before that, they were hitting each other with kendo sticks. Balor had a bunch of kendo sticks wrapped up in some tape that was the same color as his demon makeup, so I'm sick of the kendo sticks. But they fight out into the crowd, but before they go completely out, or at least until Roman goes completely out into the crowd, he retrieves a mask from Paul Heyman, and he proceeds to put a mask on his face as he fights out into the crowd with Finn Balor. And I just thought that was hilarious. There you go. If Roman Reigns, if the tribal chief himself can put on a mask and kick ass, then there's nothing stopping any of us from putting on a mask just to shop at the grocery store. Right? Right? Is it that hard? I don't know. I thought that was funny. So they fight into the crowd. They're fighting over by the kickoff panel set. They're over there. Balor dove off one of the kickoff panel table. He dove off of it onto Roman, crashed through a table. First table spot of the match. They get back to the ring, and Balor sets up a table in the ring, but that only gave the advantage to Roman, who ended up planting Balor right through that very same table that he himself set up. So I thought that was really cool. We see Roman go for the spear, but it gets stopped by Balor with a sling blade. Balor goes for the drop kick, but then Roman hits the spear anyway. He goes for the cover, and Balor kicks out, but in doing so, he low blows Roman Reigns. Very similar to what happened in their previous encounter a few weeks ago on SmackDown, when regular Finn Balor hit the coup de grace on Roman, went for the cover, and Roman kicked out and did so in a way where he got his arm up and low blowed Balor. So I thought that was a really cool callback in this match, and it worked. So we see Balor, he hits the coup de grace, he's going for the win, and then out comes the Usos. They pull him out, they start to beat him down, they pull out another table on the outside, look like they're going to slam him through it. When Balor escapes, he dumps Jimmy Uso on the barricade, and then he power bombs, I believe, Jey Uso through the announce table. And then just a few seconds later, Roman comes in and spears Balor through the barricade. So now everyone all across the board is completely down and wiped out. And then we hear, how do I describe this? The heartbeat, the sound effect for the demon, that heartbeat sound. We start to hear that, and then we start to see smoke fill up the arena. The lights turn completely red. And then there's Balor is on the outside, and as the heartbeat sound effect is going off, every time it goes off, Balor just kind of jiggles his body in sync with the sound of the heartbeat. And I could tell what they were doing, but it looked so hilarious, and not in a good way. Like, not laughing with them. I'm completely laughing at them because this looks stupid as hell, but I thought it was funny. So the heartbeat motion is going off, and then Balor's music just starts to play, and he pops right back up. Got a huge pop from the crowd because they thought, okay, well, they're doing this. Clearly he must win, and it looked like that's what they wanted you to believe. So Balor goes on the attack. He starts to beat down Roman. He gives him some shots with the chair. He drop kicks him, and Roman falls backwards into the table that the Usos set up. He slides Roman back in the ring. He goes up top. He's gonna hit the coup de grace, but then more smoke starts to fill up the arena, and it starts to block out everything. Now you can't see Roman, you can't see Balor. It's just smoke completely filling up for a very uncomfortably long period of time. And then out of nowhere, the rope breaks. The top rope breaks. It snaps, and Balor comes crashing down. He gets up, and he gets met with a spear from Roman. 1, 2, 3. Roman is still the Universal Champion. That finish was so stupid. It was so dumb. And it was so goofy. But I thought it was funny. Clearly, the objective was not for it to be comedic or hilarious, but that's the reaction it got out of me. From Balor jiggling and gyrating in sync with his theme music sound effects, to just popping off and beating down Roman, to getting up top. The lights are completely dark red and smoke is filling up the whole screen. You can't see anything. And then the rope out of nowhere breaks. Everyone's looking around all confused, like, what happened? How did the rope break? Oh, there must be a guardian angel for Roman Reigns. I thought this was completely stupid. But I guess this protects the Fiend, who suffered his very first loss on the main roster. Not his loss in general. His very first loss, period, came at the hands of Samoa Joe at NXT TakeOver The End in June 2016. But NXT is non-canon to stuff like this, so this is Balor's first loss as the Demon on the main roster, and of course it came at the hands of Roman Reigns. So I thought that finish was very goofy, but I also thought it was very funny. But now all roads point to Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel, on October 21st, where Roman Reigns will defend the Universal Championship against Brock Lesnar, as if there was any doubt what the outcome of this match was going to be when they already announced that match in advance. So, hey, whatever. Now that the roles are reversed and Roman is the heel and Brock is the badass babyface, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the dynamic between those two in a match at Crown Jewel. And I believe that is the next time I will talk to you guys about WWE anything, unless something crazy happens over the next few weeks that makes me come on to have an impromptu chit chat with you guys. Otherwise, that's the next time I'll be talking WWE with you. I thought overall this was a good show. It really did not need to exist, and it definitely did not need to be called Extreme Rules, but there were enough good matches on this show to make me look at it and think of it in a more positive than negative light. So, good work, aside from that goofy finish, but still good nonetheless. So that's it for me. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter at DerekJ Speaks. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you. Good night.